Lord Belgrave is back, and this time we're talking about the target instant payment system in Europe, Ripple, and XRP connections we might have missed. Lord Belgrave is trying to fill in some of those connections. Lord Belgrave claims to be an ex-City London banker with inside knowledge to all of this. Let's go ahead and go through his latest post. I also have some additional information to kind of show you the connections between Ripple, XRP, and the target instant payment system through its partners. We have a lot of relevant information that you can take a look at after we go through this. 2018, the European Central Bank launches TIPS, target instant payment settlement. On the surface, it looks like a retail upgrade. Instant euro payments 24/7, but look closer, he says. The vocabulary, the timing, and the NDAs tell another story. One that points directly to Ripple and XRP. Here is the thread. The official ECB release, November 2018, said TIPS allows citizens and firms to transfer money in real time 24/7, 365 days a year. Most people stop reading right there. But buried in the technical annexes were phrases like liquidity optimization across multiple currency corridors, protocol neutral settlement frameworks, compliance metadata, inseparable from transaction finality. If you've read Ripple NDAs, you know these words are not accidental. He goes on to say the context matters. In 2017, PSD2 forced banks to open APIs and upgrade payment systems. By 2018, the ECB had to prove it could deliver infrastructure to support the regulatory mandate. RippleNet was already being pitched as PSD2 compliant. TIPS was the institutional parallel, and the overlap in vocabulary is undeniable. I attended the ECB consultation in Brussels in late 2018. Ripple was in the room, not branded as crypto, but real-time gross settlement via neutral bridge assets. I do love the sound of that. It goes on to say here, the slide deck the slide deck didn't say XRP. It said neutral asset layer enabling deterministic finality. Those of us who'd seen Ripple's internal decks recognized it immediately. The NDA clauses were even more explicit. One draft I reviewed in London read, distributed settlement infrastructures may be evaluated under TIPS and the PSD2 frameworks, provided they remain regulatory audible, ISO 20022 native, and identity anchored. That's banker speak for the XRP ledger in scope. Why does this all matter? Because TIPS wasn't just about euros. It was built to support cross-border FX corridors. The annexes spoke of multi-currency interoperability, real-time FX conversion mechanisms, net liquidity optimization. That is exactly Ripple's domain. The interesting part here too, guys, Ripple now covers 90% of the FX market globally, some of the biggest markets in the world. And I would imagine that it's just sooner or later that they're going to have 95 and 100% of the globe covered. We know that if we moved FX markets, usually, anywhere from like $6 to $7.5 trillion a day, usually about $1 million on average per transactions. Talking about 7.5 million transactions per day, give or take, 7.5 trillion. So that is a lot of value being moved and transferred in multiple currencies all over the planet. If you throw in Ripple's technology, you can help save that system billions of dollars a year at a minimum. All right, let's get back to this. Evidence trail that ties it all together. ECB speeches in 2018 and 2019, Benoit Cœuré emphasized instant settlement across currencies. The BIS reports 2019 adopted Ripple's vocabulary, atomic settlement, deterministic finality, vendor MOUs, redacted, reference, bridge asset pilots under strict confidentiality, memorandums of understanding MOUs. Every breadcrumb aligns. The intellectual leap is this. TIPS was never about citizens paying coffee shops faster. It was regulatory rehearsal for neutral settlement protocols. Retail was the justification. Institutional liquidity orchestration was the mission. I know because I was in the compliance reviews part. The ECB's public line, TIPS equals instant euros. The private line, TIPS equals foundational for multi-currency corridors, identity anchoring, and regulatory audibility. And vocabulary, Ripple's fingerprints are unmistakable. He goes on to say, connecting the dots, 2017 PSD2 opens the APIs. 2018 ECB launches TIPS with protocol neutral language. Ripple is already pitching to ECB workshops. And then NDAs reference ISO 20022 native identity anchor settlement protocols. By 2019, BIS reports echo Ripple's architecture. This is no coincidence. It's choreography. Connecting the dots. 2017, PSD2 opens the APIs. 2018, ECB launches TIPS with the protocol neutral language. Ripple is already pitching the ECB workshops. NDAs reference ISO 20022 native identity anchor settlement protocols. By 2019, BIS reports echoes Ripple's architecture. This is not a coincidence. It's choreography. I will release redacted excerpts from those NDAs, clauses that mention identity anchoring corridors, liquidity orchestration under PSD2 and TIPS, and protocol agnostic bridges. They won't say XRP, but if you know the language, you will see the truth. And I also wanted to show you this here, Finastra Fusion powered by Ripple and XRP. We will be connecting to the ECB TIPS, UK CHAPS, SWIFT, US Fed Funds, FedNow, FedWire, TCH chips, and real-time payments in ECB Target 2. So basically, all connected here through Finastra, one of the largest software as a service companies here for financial infrastructure. And as you can see, all of this can be interconnected here through Ripple and XRP. Here's the larger version of this. And here's everything that's connected to. All right. And then I also wanted to show you, they have this video here, but
for this growth, financial institutions need a payments infrastructure that is nimble, scalable, and agile enough to meet emerging customer demands. And the payment experience needs to embed seamlessly into whatever transactions that customers are doing, whether that's in a retail context, such as splitting a bill at a meal, or in a business context, such as settling an invoice for goods and services. Together, we are thinking beyond simple use cases of real-time payments and embedding frictionless payment services to deliver real value to customers, and coupling this with important tools that will help banks manage aspects of fraud, etc., that fundamentally change with real-time payments. We do this by leveraging global innovation and third parties, integrating them onto our platform, fusionfabric.cloud.
All right, I just want to show you this here too. Mr. Man went down this rabbit hole, and I thought this was valuable to show you. It says, let's go down the rabbit hole regarding TIPS and the Euro area. There are DLT arrangements. What is TIPS? TIPS operates with an extension of Target 2, now replaced by T2, and settles payments in the central bank money to ensure reachability across Europe and compliant SEPA instant credit scheme.
Let me quote the example of TIPS. TIPS is the Eurosystem platform operated by the Bank of Italy on behalf of the Eurosystems for the settlement, created for the settlement of instant payment in euro.
Okay. And then he also says Italian banks were leveraging Ripple's XRP and Quarter to process large volumes of transactions efficiently. Ripple's technology, particularly the XRP ledger, is recognized for its potential in remittance payments across border transactions, providing a robust solution for financial processes. Here is Animoca Brands, Liberty City Ventures, Ripple, and Algorand. Algorand is very popular in Italy as well and in parts of Europe. Okay. He also said, he pointed some stuff here towards Algorand and Polygon as well, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about that. Also, he says, do you remember the ACI Worldwide and Ripple had strict partnership? I do. ACI Worldwide taps into TIPS payment in the Euro area, and keep in mind, Ripple has the necessary licenses as a CASP to operate in Europe through Ireland, right? And Ripple's is getting more and more licenses and more institutional connections all across Europe. So Ripple has multiple connections into TIPS. I mean, I could make a 20, 30-minute video on all of them. I just wanted to show you some just very basic ones through Finastra, through ACI here. But Lord Belgrave does bring up some points here. They're never going to just tell you it's XRP Ledger. But I've noticed when I've gone through a lot of these posts from Lord Belgrave, you do start to see some of the same terminology used over and over again that we've seen in BIS documents and other institutional level pilots from central banks or from the largest financial institutions on the world. So, what I really think about Lord Belgrave is I do think there are people like this out there that have inside knowledge that want to speak, but they don't want to be prosecuted for speaking. Do I know if this guy's real or not? It's impossible, right? But I do believe that there are people like this. Maybe he is trying to do a good for the community and give us this information. Maybe he has alternative motives. I couldn't tell you. I just like going through the information. I think you do too. I will see you next time, guys. I hope you enjoyed this update here from Lord Belgrave about TIPS, the target instant payment system in Europe. Ripple, XRP connections. I'll see you next time. If you like the video, you can like it, you can share it, you can leave a comment down below. I'll see you next time.